Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial on Wan2.2 Animate model. This is going to be a step-by-step guide on how to use the model. I will explain the workflow section by section. This way you know exactly what you need to modify. I will talk about the two different modes of the Wan2.2 Animate model, and we'll also talk about how to extend the video duration. Let's get started. If you're new, the Wan2.2 Animate model is simply a model to animate character based on a driver video. You will be able to replicate the facial expressions and movement into a generated video. The model can also be used to replace character from a video with another character. It has two different modes. We can animate, we can also replace a character. With today's workflow, you will be able to extend the video duration as well. Okay, so now let's get started with the tutorial. For this, you will need to have ComfyUI installed. I have a video on how to install ComfyUI in case you don't have it. The first thing that you will need to do is to go inside your ComfyUI portable folder, inside the update folder, and then double click on update_ComfyUI.bat. This will update your ComfyUI. If you have the desktop version, then you can simply start it. It should auto update as long as you have it configured in the settings. Once updated, we'll go here to File, select Browse Templates. You can also click here to go into the Templates folder. So as long as you've updated your ComfyUI, you can go in the search bar here and type in Animate, and you should have this option here, Wan2.2 Animate, Character Animation and Replacement. This is the workflow that we'll be using. So click on it and it's going to load the workflow. So some of you may get this missing models, and you will need to download 6 models. You may already have some of these models if you've used the Wan2.1 or 2.2 before. Click on these download buttons to download the model. Now for this one, as you can see, we have a question mark icon here. And that is because the download link is no longer valid. It's possible that it's been fixed. If it is fixed, when you click on this download button, it's going to download automatically. If the Reroute LoRa FP16 does not download automatically, when you click on that download button, it will take you to Hugging Face page. And you will see something like this. You will have a lot of folders. You will need to go inside the LoRa folder. By the way, if you do not see the LoRa folder, you may have to click on Files and Versions and then go inside the LoRa's folder. Then go inside the Wan2.2 Reroute folder. Inside, you will get 2 versions and you can see the size here. I've downloaded this version. To download, you'll simply need to click on these downloads buttons here. Now, once completed, you can close out of this dialog box, and right away, some of you may get this message saying some nodes are missing. In my case, I had only 2 nodes missing. You may have more. You can close out of this dialog box as well. Go inside the manager, click on Install Missing Custom Nodes, and in here, it will give you a list of all the custom nodes you are missing. Simply click on this top checkbox. It's going to select everything and then click on the install button to install everything at once. Wait for it to complete. At the bottom here, you will get a restart button. Click on it to restart your ComfyUI. Once all your downloads has completed, most likely it's going to be in your downloads folder. Mine are all here. Now I'm going to show you where you need to move all of these files. By the way, if you have the ComfyUI desktop version, by default, it's going to auto move and place these files in the correct directory. If not, then you can continue following along. For the portable versions, you will need to manually move all the files. The first one is the Diffusion model, and it is this one here, the Wan2.2 Animate 14B FP8 version. So you can select it, press Ctrl X to cut, then go into your ComfyUI portable folder, the ComfyUI folder, go inside models folder and then look for Diffusion models. Go inside it and then paste it. Once that is done, you will need to go back into your downloads folder, and we are going to repeat the same thing for the 5 remaining models. Now next are the LoRa's. We have 2 LoRa's in this case. We have a Lightning model and a Reroute LoRa. To select both, you can press Ctrl, hold, and then click on the individual files to select them. Next, go back to your ComfyUI models and then look for the LoRa's folder. Go inside it and then Ctrl V to paste like this. Next, we'll do the text encoder. We have only one in this particular case. It's the UMT5XXL. So once again, select it, Ctrl X to cut. By the way, you can also drag if you have the two folders side by side, you can also right click, select cut from the menu. The text encoder will go inside the text encoders folder here and then paste it here. The remaining two should be self-explanatory. We have the clip vision edge and then we have the VAE model. So select the clip vision, Control X, and then paste it inside the clip vision folder. Make sure it is inside the clip vision, not the clip folder. The VAE will go inside the VAE folder. Once again, we are going to go inside the VAE folder, not the approximate VAE one. Once you have the models in the correct folder, come back to ComfyUI, press R on your keyboard, and this will reload the node definitions. And then in here, you will see we have a step 1 called load models. You can click there, zoom in. If you have a mouse wheel, you can rotate it to zoom in and out. You can also use the navigation bar down here, and this is the zoom level. Click on these drop down. Make sure that your models is showing there. By default, it should be pre-selected in this workflow. Okay, now we are going to take a look at the workflow and understand how it works. So first thing, press the period key on your keyboard. This will zoom out everything. If not, you may have to click outside on a blank space and then press the period key. If you're having difficulty, you can also click on this button here. It will fit the entire workflow. We'll start here and then we'll do this. We'll move to the right side. Once we reach this section, you will have to go down here and then move right. And then you will need to go here and then there. So this is the path that you will need to follow in order to understand this workflow. Put your mouse here, click on this blue silhouette here. This is the group, and then press the period key. It will zoom you directly to this position. The first thing that you will need to do is to manage your video size. Depending on the resources you have available, so your GPU RAM or VRAM, you will need to set a video resolution. The general rule here is the higher the value, the higher the quality of the generated video, but it will also take more resources. The reverse is true. If you lower these values, your video quality will suffer, but it will require less VRAM. Second, these values are going to be in a multiple of 16. You can go to your start, type in calculator, and you can type in 16. If you want to find out what value you need to use, the default one, it's multiplying 16 by 40 to get 640. So this is what we have in the workflow by default. If after running this workflow, you get an error saying out of memory error, then you can come here and you decrease the value. So remember, we always need to multiply by 16. In case you need to decrease it, you can try 30. So you multiply by 30, this is going to give you 480. And then you just put those values there. Try again until you find a resolution that works for you. Now, of course, if you have the VRAM, you can increase it as well. Now, at this point, I'm going to recommend you to leave one finger on the period key. Since this workflow is quite big, it's difficult to navigate. You can leave your finger on the period key, click outside on a blank space, press it, and it will zoom you out. If you select something and you press the period key, it will zoom to that node or item that you've selected. If you need to zoom back out, you can again click on a blank space to deselect and then press the period key to zoom out. This will make it really fast to navigate this workflow, since we need to go like this, here, and then here, this way, and then down in order to understand how things are working. Otherwise, you can use the middle click to pan and move around. You can also use the hand down below to get the hand, and then you can click and move like this. We've completed the video section. We'll now move to the step 1, load models. This section should be pre-selected for you. Everything should be there by default. If when you are running the workflow, you get an error saying that you are missing a model, then you will need to go back, watch the part where we move the models to the correct folder. Also possible that you've accidentally renamed some of these files, or your browser gave you a default download name. In that case, you can come to any of these nodes, click on it, and then select your model from the list. Now we'll move on to this section here. So you can click on it to select it, press period to zoom in, and this is going to be your prompt. This will describe the output video that you want to see. In this particular case, I'm saying a character dancing in a room. I believe the original prompt that you get from the default workflow is character dancing in a room. All right, so we zoomed out once again. Now, remember, we'll need to go here to this section. So select it, period, on your keyboard, and it's going to zoom in there. This is going to be step 3. This is going to be your character that you want to place on the generated video. Now remember, this model has 2 modes. We can either use this character to replace another one from the video, or we can animate this character. I will show you how to do this once we reach that step. For now, just place your character in here, and then we'll move on to step 4, which is loading an original image. Now I'm going to reset the workflow because I've changed it a little bit. So yours will look like this. So in here, you are going to place your character like this. And in here, you will need to place a video file. This video will drive the output. Now by default, you don't get a video with the workflow. I'm going to leave a link where you can download my input image as well as this input video. If you zoom in here, we can see that this video is 3 seconds long. This is going to come into play once we start generating our output. So if I play it, you can see that we have movement in the video like this. Now this section is all about the video. It's going to get the video composition. It will also get the audio because at the end it's going to composite the final result. So if your driver video, this input video has audio, it will take that as well. Notice how I've cropped my video to match the size of my input image, and both of these are exactly 640 in size. This workflow takes care of it. We have a node here that's going to upscale it, but we have this option here that says crop in center, and it's going to get the width and height based on what we have here is step 0, where we are setting the video size. So even if you don't crop your video or your input image beforehand, it's going to crop it automatically here. However, if your character in your input video is placed on the left side, as you can see here, it's cropping only to center. So it's possible that you will not get a nice crop output from this node. So make sure your character is in center if your video resolution does not match. You can also crop it outside of ComfyUI before you upload it here. And I'm not sure I mentioned this. You can click on this choose file to upload, and then you will get your video. You can also drag it from your file explorer directly onto this node. Other things are already set up for you. We have the DW pose that's going to get the face at the top, but it will also get the body and hand bottom here. And once again, we're going to zoom out, so you can click outside, period. We've finished this section here. So now we'll move on to this section. Select the blue outline for this section, press period to zoom in. And the first node that we'll see is this one here. This is the points editor. Now this one behaves slightly different than normal ComfyUI node. For example, a normal ComfyUI node, you can resize it at the bottom right, but in this one, if you go to the bottom right, you do not get that resize option. Instead, you will need to resize the node using the option that is provided inside the node itself. You will get a width and height. These will control the size of it. Besides that, it's actually easy to use. So I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to disable the next section by simply clicking on the blue outline, so the group itself, right-clicking, and then changing it to set group nodes to never. This is going to disable it. And now I'm going to generate so that you can see what happens here. I'm also going to enable the mask preview and the background video preview. You can do it by clicking on it, selecting that node, and then clicking on this unbypass icon. I recommend you to do exactly like I did. Otherwise, it's going to generate a video and you will have to sit here probably 2-3 minutes and the selection will not be correct. So this points editor will allow you to select the character. So by default, you will have 1 point. It's going to be 0. We have 2 colors. Red means a negative point and Green is a positive point. Positive points are for selecting the character. Negative points are to tell the point editor not to select from those areas. Now, most likely you will need to add more points. You can do this by pressing and holding down the Shift key, left clicking to add a positive point, Shift right click to add a negative point. You can move the points by placing your mouse cursor in the middle of the point, then you can move them. Simply left click and drag wherever you want them. So in this specific case, you want to get the body, the hand, the head as well. So I'm going to press Shift, left click on the character multiple times. And let's say you make mistakes like this, where I have multiple points outside. Well, you can bring them inside, but if they are unnecessary, you can right click without pressing the Shift key. Simple right click will remove the points. So I can remove number 7. You will see the number change here. Again, I'm going to remove number 7. This one will become 7. For the green points, we have 0 until number 7. And what you'll need to know here is that you cannot remove the start or end point of this array. Simply put, you cannot remove the first point. You cannot remove the end point, the last one. So if I right click on 0 here, I cannot remove it. Same thing for number 7, I cannot remove it. I can only remove the middle points. So I can remove number 3, 5, 2, like this, but I cannot remove this one here. I have a number 1 here, which I can remove because it's in the middle of these two. If you need to remove that extra point, the last one, a simple way to do it would be to create a new canvas. You can do it by clicking here, new canvas, and now you will be back at the starting point. If something goes wrong, and you are unable to move the points or interact with it, then you can go to the top here, the points editor title bar, right click and then select fix node, recreate. This will recreate the node, and then you can click on the new canvas to get a new canvas. Make sure you are changing the width and height. Now, once you're at this point, you can run and you are going to go back to where we were previously. I'm going to place a few points here. Now, before I click on generate with these new points, let's move on to this section here, these two previews, to see what these points do. So remember, at the beginning, when I clicked on run button to generate these two previews, I had only 1 point in the middle of my character. And if we take a look here where the application here is masking my character, you can see it's masking only the middle part. Can move on frame by frame, it's just masking the middle point. Same thing here, this is for the mask. We can click on the first image and you can see the mask there. This is the reason why I said to disable these nodes first by right clicking, setting the group to never. Click on the run button so that you get a preview and then adjust your mask at this step. So I'm going to put a couple of points on my character. You don't need to be precise, you don't need to make sure that you're inside the character. Even if you're slightly outside the character, it's fine. Now with these new points, I'm going to generate these two previews once again. Okay, it's completed, and now we can see that we have a better mask. So if I move here, it's going to follow the character movement each frame. All right, it's the same thing here. The top one, anything that is in white is being masked, and in this bottom preview, anything that is black is being masked. Okay, so we get to see the background here. Now, once you're satisfied with your points and the mask that you're seeing here, we can move on to this section here. But before we do that, there is an important note here. This one, we zoom in, it tells us how to switch between the two different modes of this model. We are able to do character replacement or a pose transfer. Now, the pose transfer will happen at each frame, as we've seen here, where we are getting each frame and we are masking at each frame. Now, by default, it is set to mix mode. I will show you how to change the mode a little bit later on. All right, let's zoom out and let's select this section here and we can zoom in. Now, at this point, you can right click and set group nodes to always. This will reactivate the node and we'll start from the WanAnimateToVideo. This is the core node that is bringing everything together. As you can see here, we have a lot of inputs. We are only concerned with the background video and character mask. Plus, in here, we have a length. Right now, it's set up to 77. That is default. I will show you how this number will affect the generation later on. Let's talk about these two optional fields. The background video and the character mask is coming from these two sections here. And if we want to switch the mode, once again, let me remind you, we have the mix mode and the move mode. We'll do it by either connecting or disconnecting these two nodes. So if they are connected, we are using the mix mode. If we disconnect them, then we automatically move on to the pose transfer. As you can see at the top here, we have the pose video, the face video that is from this section here. So by simply disconnecting these two fields, will automatically change the mode of this model. I will show you the output a little bit later on. Let's talk about the length here. This is the number of frames you want in your output video. Right now it is set up at 77. Now if I go back here to the masking area, and any of these will work, we can just select them, zoom in onto the bottom right, and you will see the number of frames in your video. In my video, I have only 61 frames. However, ComfyUI, well, this node here will generate a video with 77 frames. I'll show you the result. I'll explain what's going to happen too. This is something important that you will need to keep in mind when you're generating video with this model. Now, other than that, it goes into the key sampler. We have the decode at the bottom. It's getting the original FPS from the input video, and then it's creating this video here. This is the first part of this workflow where you can generate a video simply by inputting an input image, a driver video that's going to drive the action that you want to see. And then by choosing between these two modes, you can have one of two effects. The first one would be to take this character and then replace this one with this input character. The second option is the pose transfer. It's going to map the movement from the driver video onto your input image. So the pose transfer will animate this image. The mix mode will take this image and replace this character with it. And you determine whether you are using the mix mode or the pose transfer mode by connecting or disconnecting this node. Now, here's a pro tip. When you are disconnecting the node, let me disconnect the background video. I'm going to click on this circle icon here and then drag out. Without letting go, I'm going to go to an empty space, let go of my mouse here. I'm going to get this dialog box where normally you can just select any node from this list. Click on the X icon to remove images from it, and then type in Reroute. Select the one from Comfy Core. If you have any other one, you can use those two. The Comfy Core works just fine. Once you add it, you will get this temporary node that's going to hold the connection. So the connection is still maintained. You don't have to go back, search, okay, was it this image that I need to send there, or is it a different output that I'll need to send here? Let's do one more for the character mask. Remember, you need to remove both the background video and character mask. So I'm going to take the character mask up, remove the mask by clicking on the X icon, search for Reroute, add it, and there we go. We have the connection at the top. If you are confused which one of these is the mask, you can right click on it, click on Show Type, and it will tell you that this one is the mask. Again, we can right click on this one. It says image here, even though the name here is background video, and that is because ComfyUI, the way it's processing it, it's taking the images and sending it directly here. You can rename this if you want to. You'll need to go into this dot here on the left side, right click, click on rename, and then you can rename it video like this. Once you rename it, you will need to remove the type. So right click, hide to remove the type. Now you have a nice indication of which of these two connects here. If you want to connect them, one way is you can drag from the left side. It's going to disconnect the reroute, and then you can place it at the bottom. But to make things easier, you can also drag from the right side like this, and anytime you need to disconnect it again, you just disconnect this one, click outside, and this reroute will still stay at the top. I'm going to connect them back so that I go into mix mode. I will show you the result of mix mode, and then we'll also talk about the length here and how your input image affects the output, if you have more frames or if you have less frame. Before you generate, another pro tip, in this case sampler here, we have the inference steps. By default, it is set up as 6. You can decrease this to 1 or 2, and this will take less time to generate the output. This is especially helpful if you're trying to see if your input image, your input video, or your prompt, or even the mask is correctly set up. So instead of sitting here for 3, 4, 5 minutes waiting for a complete video, just do 2 or 1 step. Change the control after generation to fix, generate. You will get an output faster. You can check the output, see if you like it. If there's anything that you need to modify, you can make your modification. And then once you're satisfied, bump this number of steps to 6 or even 8 to get a higher quality video. All right, let's take a look at the mix mode. What happens? So as you can see, it took my character, this character here, replaces the one from the video with the input image, and you can see the character here. This is the mix mode. By the way, the quality is because I'm doing 2 steps. Now take a look down here. We have the number of seconds for this video, and it says 4 seconds. If you remember correctly, my input video is only 3 seconds. So now let's talk about the number of frames. If you have more than 77 frames, so 77 is coming from here, the generated video will map the first 77 frames only. And if you do not have enough frames in your original input video, then this will happen. So take a look at the last second. The character moves, we see movement, and then it stops. So it just stays there as if it's frozen. That is because we don't even have movement in that section. So what's happening is that it's mapping from frame number 1 to frame 61, and then from frame 62 to frame 77, we don't have any mapping happening since we don't have frames here. Basically, the model is filling those missing frames with a static pose that is the last frame. And that's why at the end here, the character does not even move. So once again, she's moving, and then we reach 3 seconds. If you pay attention here, you will see we reach 3 seconds. She stops, and then because we have loop on here, we go back to the start. So I hope you understand this point here where we have the number of frames that we are generating in our output video here. The total number of frames in your original video matters because it's going to affect the output. Okay, so now I'm going to disconnect the background video and the character mask. This way I'm changing the mode from mix to pose transfer. For this next part, I'm going to change the load video. This is the driver video with just me doing a silly dance here. And I'm using this because we have more frames here. This one is 6 seconds long, and we'll be doing the pose transfer mode. All right, so it's completed, and you can see what the pose transfer is doing now. Let me get the image there as well. So here's the input image. This is the driver video, and I'm not sure if we can sync them together, but you can see that the action that is happening is being transferred to this character in the output image. Now notice how the background is just this static background that we have in the input image. There's a little bit of flickering happening, like a little bit of movement, but the character is doing the silly dance here. Now, as long as the hands and the facial expressions are clearly captured in the driver video, you will see this replicated in the output video. In this particular case, it was able to replicate the hand clearly. So you can see that my hands, like the fingers, are in a specific position. In the output video, it was able to keep the finger in the same position here. Before we move on to the next step, let's compare the mix mode. This left side here is the mix mode, and this one here is the pose transfer mode. As you can see, the mix mode is keeping the background from the original video and just replacing the character. The pose mode is making your PNG, your simple input image, animated. So these two are showing you the difference in the number of steps. I'm not sure how well this will replicate on YouTube since we have the YouTube compression as well. The left side here is 2 steps. The right side is 6 steps. So this one is higher quality. You can of course go to 8 if you want higher quality as well. Now, the video size will also affect your quality. The video size will also affect the generated video quality at the end. All right, so let's move on to the last section, and that is to extend the video. There's only one section remaining, and it's this section here. So you can select it, press period, zoom in, right click and select set group nodes to always. Now notice how this section is an exact copy of the top section. So as long as you understand how this one works, it's going to be very easy to understand how to extend the video. Now we'll only need to do two things to continue the motion. So let's go here. We'll see that we have a video frame offset, and on the left side here we have a continue motion. So let's go to our second part. This is for the video extend section. We see that the continue motion is connected in this one, and then at the bottom here we have a video frame offset which is connected to the top. So if I were to copy and paste this here, let's say you want to extend it, this video frame offset will go down here to video frame offset, and the continue motion is actually images. It needs to know what was the previous images. So we'll pass in the VAE decode image output to continue motion like this. Everything else is exactly like the first one. You'll connect it exactly like the first one. So if we go here, it's a little bit difficult to see because there's a lot of overlapping happening. If I move this slowly here, you can see that this connection from the video frame offset moves. Everything else stays the same, right? And to see the connection here with the VAE decode, let's maybe move it like this. Now, hopefully you can see this is the VAE decode, and you can see it's connecting here with the continue motion like so. Now remember earlier I talked about the length. This is how long the output will be. Because we are extending now, since we already have 4 seconds of video here, this one will be 8 seconds long. So when we come back here, if you want to have a good output that is following your input video, this driver video, you need to make sure that your video length here is more than 8 seconds long. Otherwise, like this example here, we'll have blank frames at the end, and that would just be filled with some static frames. Basically, the end frame here would just be repeated multiple times. Now you can click on a run button. As long as this is activated, it's going to automatically extend the video. I'm going to show you an example. I've already done it because it takes some time depending on your hardware. All right, let's take a look at the output. This version is the mix mode, which means we are replacing the character. The background stays the same, and you can see the character is moving. Down below, you see that it's at 3 seconds, 4, 5, 6. At 6 seconds, it stops. That is because my input video was only 6 seconds long. So once again, I'll wait for it to reach 6 seconds. You can see it stop. So here's another tip. You can combine these two modes when you are extending a video. So the first one can be this one where you are just doing a pose transfer. If you go down and you do not disconnect the character mask and background video from the second WanAnimateToVideo, then you've essentially combined the two modes. So the first part of this video will be pose transfer. Once we reach 4 seconds, it's going to go into the mix mode, replacing the character. So you can have something like this, and you can be creative, mix these two different modes, trying to get a video composition. All right, so that is it when it comes to understanding the entire workflow. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to go and summarize everything. In case in the future you want to come back to refresh your memory, you don't have to watch the entire video. You can just jump to this section. Okay, let's go. You can get the workflow from the templates here. Click on it. It will load the template. Remember to always start from here. Navigate in this manner to this section here. You will always end at the bottom, which is to extend the video. Use the fit view to quickly navigate to different sections of the video. You can zoom in, zoom out. When it comes to the point editor here, shift left click to add green positive points, and then shift right click to add red negative points. You can always click on the new canvas to start fresh. These two modes here, the mix and the move mode, will determine whether you are doing a character replace or a pose transfer, and you determine this by disconnecting the background video and the character mask. If it is disconnected like this, it means you are doing a pose transfer. If it is connected, both of them, then it means you are doing a mix mode. If you are extending the video, you will need to control the mode for each WanAnimateToVideo node. So the bottom section here also has the same background video and character mask, which you can connect and disconnect. Extending the video is very easy. All you'll need is to get the video frame offset, connect it with video frame offset, and then continue the motion by getting the video decode images into the continue motion here. You can always copy this entire section and then connecting only the images here and the video frame offset. All right, this is it from me. If this video was helpful, I appreciate a like. If you have any questions or discussion, you can put it in the comments down below. I would like to say a big thank you to all of my Patreon supporting the channel, and a thank you to all of you for watching until the very end. Have a nice day. Take care. I will see you next time.